This one is, as you can see, the title is called "The Other Side of Being Broke." I really like it because it kind of delves into the whole cost of living, personal finance thing that I talk about. So let's go.
The other side of being broke. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I just realized I'm the luckiest person on the planet. I own a rental property, a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage with a pool. Okay? I've had it rented out for 12-ish, maybe 13 years.
That's wild.
I have it set on auto debit for my mortgage on it.
Young as well.
And I've always had a rental income, and I've always had a management company. So I always had the management company income come directly into me, and my mortgage payment automatically go out, and I literally never check on it.
Well done,
I just
girl.
know that it's making money, and I'm just kind of like, let it be. Well, I was curious what my payoff was, and I was thinking I'm probably around 100,000 my payoff now. So I looked it up. I forgot that years ago I went in to the mortgage website and I set it up to add an extra $420. I don't know why $420 per month in addition to the principal. I forgot I did this.
You made it quicker.
And my payoff is $2,600. I could pay it off right now and own this house outright.
Bro.
So, moral of the story, go in and add additional principal to your note, and your house will be paid off fast.
That is the true power of real estate, people. When you own a rental property that's generating income that you can turn around and use to pay off the debt on that mortgage. See, there are 3 ways you can generate income whenever you're investing in real estate. The first one is through cash flow, right? You want to make sure that you're buying the deal properly so that you have enough money after your mortgage is paid for, your taxes, your insurance, your maintenance, vacancies, CapEx, all that stuff. Once it's all accounted for, you still want a little bit of extra cash at the end of the month.
Hopefully.
So that's number one, cash flow. Number 2 is appreciation. Since the beginning of time, over the long term, real estate prices have gone up. So the value of your property goes up over time, generally the longer you hold it. And then 3 is what she was talking about, and that's debt payoff. So the tenants living in your property that are paying you rent, you turn around and use that rent to pay off your mortgage with no money out of your pocket. That is why I love investing in real estate.
You know, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, getting out of debt. I had just north of like $30,000 in debt from...
That's not much.
Credit cards to personal loans to, you name it.
It's not crazy.
On top of that, I also had a bunch of subscriptions to other services that I totally forgot that I had that I was still paying monthly.
That's normal. That's something that a lot of people need to do. When people, I always think about when people complaining about cost of living, and I'm like, I bet you if I was to look through your budget to see the nonsense you pay for that you don't even use anymore, that's just sitting there and just quietly taking money from you. Right, the companies are quietly taking money from you. Subscription service you don't use anymore. But then you're screaming about cost of living. Some people just hold on to unnecessary things, bro, which just results in unnecessary costs for you. But you're screaming about cost of living. Go and check bro.
Too, but I promise you, if you can lock in just for a little bit to get out of that debt, it is life-changing once you're debt-free. If it honestly feels like you got a raise in life, like life just handed you extra money for whatever reason. And then what you do is you take that money, apply it toward other debt, you can save it or invest it. It's up to you.
He's 100% correct, guys. Bro. I wish for every single one of you watching this video that you would get on this journey to become debt-free, because I don't think you really know what the other side feels like until you're there, right?
Facts.
And I also will say the journey to becoming debt-free, you really do learn a lot about yourself financially, because you're made to have to pay attention to where you're spending your money. So you start to learn, wow, I spend a lot on going out to eat. Or I spend a lot on my car payments, or whatever it is. You'll find out a lot about yourself that you probably didn't know before. And then not only is it, the greatest feeling alive, and it's, not having to worry about paying anybody else anymore. I think the biggest benefit of being 100% debt free is that you get your freedom back. right?
Mhm.
You get to take control of your life. If you are $100,000 in debt,
That's wild.
you're at a job that you hate, but you can't leave it because the job pays you enough to keep the lifestyle that you're living today, and it keeps you alive by paying your bills on time. That's not freedom. Freedom is whenever you're at that crappy job, but you have no, debt payments, no bills to worry about besides keeping lights on or whatever it is, that you can go choose to maybe go into a completely different industry, right? Now you're in a different industry. Maybe you had to take a little bit of a pay cut because you don't have as much experience, but you have the freedom to do that because you don't owe anyone any money. That is
Facts.
true freedom.
The year that I decided to start building my own long-term wealth. I don't know why it took me so long, but here's exactly how I'm doing it. So I've had this account for a little while, but my high yield savings account is where a majority of my emergency fund and my checking and everything like that is sitting in an account that's high yield, because if you're going to have money sitting in your account, you might as well get better interest for it. But new things that I've done, I opened up a Roth IRA this year and maxed it out. So that's going to kick off the retirement fund, and then the emergency fund is going to stay in the high yield savings account. And then something I did tonight, which I think was a pretty big step for me, was opening up my own brokerage account. My Roth IRA and my brokerage are both through Charles Schwab. There's no particular reason for it. I just like having everything in one place. When I opened up my Roth with them, I decided to also just do my brokerage account with them. I want something that's long-term. I can just sit and do the work essentially by itself. Short-term investments are not something I'm quite comfortable with because I'm afraid of just essentially losing the money. Now, in terms of what I went for, these are the three that I put money into equally. So this is the first dividend equity ETF that I did. You can see the reasons why, what it's good for. You'll see, particularly with all of these, it's just stable, passive income, and there's not a lot of risk, which is what I wanted. Again, the next one, you'll see long-term growth, good performance, not a lot of risk. And the last one here, reducing overall reliance on the US economy. Just, it's going to sit there, do its job for me, and I don't have to worry about it. Now, in terms of what I'm doing next, as far as using my money for growth, I am very interested in learning about trading futures versus options, and might look into some classes about that. There's one particular coach on here that has a class. I think it's Crystal Academy. I want to try that out just to see what happens. So that's what I'm doing right now. We'll see how it goes.
Absolutely love this video. And
That's-
here's the problem. When I found this girl's clip, it had maybe like 20 likes. This is one thing I hate about the content creation area is, like, obviously, bad news sells, crazy headline sales, whenever, that's what gets the views. And then if I would make a video about your top 3 ways to invest, or, what is a Roth IRA account and why is it one of the best investing vehicles? That's a way long title, but you guys get what I'm saying here. That doesn't get pushed out. People
but you know
aren't
why,
wanting
though?
to watch that content because it's not entertaining. But
not-
what
yeah.
it is it's going to better your financial future massively. Now, for those 3 accounts, real quick, high yield savings
All right, let's go
account.
to-
It's basically like a glorified savings account where you keep your money in this account and it earns interest. You're going to earn anywhere from probably 3 to 4% as of right now. And that does change all the time based on where the Fed's rate is, as well as which type of high yield savings account or who you choose to go with. Some banks give a little bit more than others. Now, that money is there to sit. It's a safe place to sit your money, and it's earning interest, instead of sitting in your checking account, not doing anything. It's actually going down in value because it's cash. The next one is probably one of my favorite and
I'll let you
one account that I recommend to all of my personal friends and family, and that is a Roth IRA. A Roth IRA is a retirement account. What happens is you put your post-tax earnings, your post-tax income, into a Roth IRA account. It is a retirement account, so you're not really supposed to pull the money out until you're 59 and a half. But the real cool part about the Roth IRA is that money grows tax-free, right? So when you're 59 and a half or older, and then you choose to say, hey, no, I'm going to start living off some of this Roth IRA money, when you pull that money out, you don't owe any taxes on it. It's literally tax-free living, and I hope that my wife and I can live off of our Roth IRAs in retirement, and everything else is just kind of like a bonus at the end of the year. And if we have a bunch of money left over, sweet, then we'll pull some from other accounts and go on some pretty cool vacations. But the Roth IRA is an amazing vehicle. And then last one is a taxable brokerage account. That is one that you can put money in and out of very easily. It's a very liquid account.
It's taxable, right?
And that is one that I'm focusing on a lot right now to build up in my personal life is my taxable brokerage account. I would love to get that to a very, very large number. And then if I choose to want to, take a couple years off of, my work life and just travel with the family, then I can do that. But of course, there's some big goals I got to hit before I get there. But that's kind of my thought process with that account, right? That's the if all hell breaks loose, I have that money in the account. Or if I want to take a break off of life for a year, I can choose to do that. That's what it takes. That's the benefit of having that taxable brokerage account.
How much?
All right. So before we go forward, basically, I want to touch on I want to give my two pence. Not make sense because 2 pence on what you just said there. So in terms of the HYS account, right? That's that's good. You're getting between 3 to 5%, right? So I guess it's basically like a normal bank. What banks give you. No difference what we do here over in the UK. Your I guess, for example, when I was not when I was, I guess I'm still in, but I don't really use banks anymore. But Lloyds, NatWest, Nationwide, whatever, they if you put your money into a savings account that gives you I guess interest back, whatever, right? You get is it the most they usually give you is 5%. So that's nothing big, basically. Yes, he's correct. If you just put it in just a current account, whatever, it doesn't really do anything. So cool, that's not too bad, right? Probably what I will say is just know that when you have it's okay to do this stuff, right? If you're not hands on with your money, that's all I will say. If you're someone that's hands on with your money, right? You like to check or do stuff with it. What I would personally say, only leave a small amount, of your money in there. Or, this is more like it's essentially like a current account where you just keep stuff in there. Your immediate money you need to get out. Cool. So that's what a HYS is, which is high yield savings account for anyone that know HYS. Is what I'm saying. So that's cool there, right? Then we'll move on to the Roth IRA, stuff like that, right? Where you can't. He mentioned it's a great one. He loves it, whatever, because you don't have to take it. You put it there, and it's not taxable. When you take it out, basically it's tax free, whatever. I would beg to differ. I'm not saying that this isn't the case. I just think that what I'll say is this: there is a catch for everything, right? There's no way they're just having you say, oh yeah, it's tax free, and you could do well. They're first giving you a specific amount. They're giving you a specific percentage, right? That they're going to in terms of when I mean percentage, I mean they're giving you a certain interest rate, right? That you can get from that. It's not going to go on anything crazy. The best to me they can probably give you is, which is probably very, very high, I'm about to say, but maybe 15%. That's very, very high, right? So when he's saying Roth IRA and all that stuff, the Roth IRAs, guys, is exactly the same as what we do over here as a pension scheme, guys, right? The pension scheme, I believe they say our pension, you put your money in, your employer will match it. I won't be surprised if they also do tax-free stuff, whatever, and pension schemes. What I don't like about pension schemes, what we said, if banks are the devils, which many people are started realizing, it's just quite harsh to say, right? Because they're just making money. That's all it is. It's a business, right? Nobody put you in a headlock. I've always even said in my previous videos, nobody put us in headlocks and said, come and bank with us, right? So it's not forced. It's more coerced. Like we're being coerced to use it because it links into so much stuff, credits and all that stuff. So that's why we use banks, right? Pension schemes, though, right? They are, if I was to call anyone the devil, pension schemes are the ones, bro. Because they'll be telling you they're giving you this, giving you that, giving you great interest rates. They're giving you tax free, whatever. All this nonsense, bro. But you can't pull it out to your 59, like crazy numbers, bro. And I mean crazy numbers in terms of your age. It's a crazy number. Why? Because what they're saying is, you give me your money and I'm able to do whatever I want with it for a prolonged period of time. Right? When you could be using, again, if you're hands on, that's when you're probably going to start saying, bruh, I'm not taking this. No, I don't want you to use my money. I don't want you to hold my money. And then taxable and then it's tax free, whatever. Because whatever you give me, it's not going to be worth it's never going to be worth what I can do for myself with my money. Right? The tax free they're giving you, think about it, right? Tax is even, right, it's criminalistic behavior, really. But we've accepted what it is, or else they'll basically put us in chains and lock us up if we don't pay tax. Cool. So the law of the land is, pay for living on it's not even off their land, but pay for living off our land is what it is. Is what it is, right? Cool. When it's actually the land of the people, but we'll just make it simple. Pay for using my land, pay for living on my land, pay for using this, pay for using that. They're taxing us all over the place. What they're now saying is, oh, it's tax free. They're saying it's tax free because they've used your money to make ridiculous amounts of money. That's why they say it's tax free, when really it's not tax free. It's not. It's not, right? You get a certain percentage. The percentage you get on top of the fact that on top of the tax that they take from you, the reason why they're able to say what they're saying to you is because they're able to make ridiculous amounts of money. How do they do it? It's through time. Time is the key. It will always be the key in everything. Time is always you can't take it out until you're 59. That's a lot of time for them to be able to do their BS. BS meaning loan it out, which you don't know. Loan it out, charge somebody ridiculous interest. Basically, it's not yours. It's not essentially your money at this point in time. I guarantee you, they don't tell us basically, and I've never checked this up myself, but I guarantee you, right, the fractional reserve lending that banks do, to me, this is just like a standard thing that should be known across many people. Should just know this now. Fractional reserve lending. Please go and check it out if you know. I'm always mentioning it, and I feel like I'm just repeating myself all the time. But fractional reserve lending, right, is a concept that the banks is a concept that the banks take on to essentially use your money to make more money, ridiculous amounts of money, ridiculous percentages, and all they're giving you is HYS interest rates, which is 3 to 5%. Wow, when they can easily make 500% within that year alone. They have their experts that know what to do with the money, that know how to get ridiculous amounts of yields, right? Whether it be investing it in companies or giving it to people that are not good with money and then destroy them with interest and have them owe them for the rest of their lives. These they have their experts that know who to target, that know where to put the money to make more money. So they clear 500%, they give you 5% of that. What is that? Think about it now, right? I guarantee that the fractional reserve lending that banks do, pension schemes do the exact same thing. Why wouldn't they? Why the hell wouldn't they? Why would they want to do you a favor? Oh, let's help you hold your money. And then we'll have you, and we'll give you a certain percentage, whatever. And then on top of that, we'll make it tax free. And it's just because we like you and we love you and we care for you. They don't care. Now, I'm not saying people don't do this. Use it. You have to use it, because most people, let's be honest with ourselves, right? Most people, this is they need it. They don't know how to deal with money. This guy was talking about, what did he say? He mentioned something about he hates this. I forgot what he said about when he said, people that don't do this, whatever, right? People not doing this stuff. Well, if he was talking about content, right? He was saying he puts out content, people don't watch it, right? But it's just, to me, this whole thing is equivalent to what we do with our money, right? He's saying, I hate people that don't watch good content. He could put out a video of this is ways to make, save your money and do whatever, and it only gets a few views, whatever. Well, if everyone did it and everyone was successful in it, my brother, you wouldn't be successful, because the new standard, right? The new standard will be that everyone will be doing what you're doing. Life will be harder for you. The reason why life is easier for you, right? Or a person like myself, maybe to an extent, right? Is because we're doing stuff that the ordinary person doesn't do, right? So we're actually, I will say, we're ordinary thinkers, or where we behave how a pragmatic, logical person should behave with money, that is prudent with their finances should behave. But most people aren't like that. Most people are going to spend. So if you hear saying, "Oh, I hate people. I hate that people don't watch these videos." If they watch and listen to you, as well as many other financial YouTubers, basically, and people are actually listening and actually being disciplined, properly executing, well, it's going to make it hard for you. How's it going to make it harder for you? What does that mean? Well, think about it. If everyone's doing it, do you not think that if everyone starts doing what you're doing, putting money in HYS accounts, putting money in Roth IRAs, how are those companies going to be able to give you, for example, in a Roth IRA, 15% and make it not taxable? How are they able to do that? They won't be able to give you that much. I'm trying to say they're going to have to divide it amongst many people that are now good, disciplined with money. So you saying you hate it? No, this is just how the world should be. This is how the world has to be, right? For people, there are ridiculous winners. That's the billionaires, trillionaires, whatever. Not ain't too many trillionaires. So just say billionaires, millionaires. They're ridiculous winners. There are certain people that are just above average, and then there's everybody that's average and below, and they're the ones that struggle. People that are not good with money. So if everyone was listening and watching your videos, like you said, I hate these people that don't listen. I hate that people don't listen to, not I hate people. I hate that people don't listen to the information. They just watch bad information. They just, look at bad stuff. All the negative stuff goes viral and this stuff doesn't go viral. Well, you probably want it not to go viral. That's not what you want it to go viral. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to address that when he was saying he hates. I'm like, bruh, just know what, stop wishing people to do stuff. Listen, wish people what they deserve. Wishing people well, people that are not good with stuff. Imagine, I wish you all the best in life with your finances. I wish you what you deserve. Wishing someone the best that's not good with, think about it. I'm just wishing somebody, I wish you just are good, just have an okay life and you're good with money and you just have abundance. But you might be a terrible person with money. Why would I wish you that? You're gonna throw it away. So the best thing I can do is I wish you what you deserve. If you do the work in order to, get better financially, then you get what you deserve. You need to wish people what they deserve and stop giving because you want to come out nice and I'm a nice guy. I'm a good person in the world, so I wish everybody well and I wish everybody equal. That's not the way the world works. It's not. It's not a logical way to work. You have to wish them what they deserve. You do the work, you get. You don't do the work, well, that's in here. That's your problem. What's gonna happen? You feel me? So, but I've digressed a bit there. But I didn't want to completely forget, that point there when we're talking about how he hates that people listen to these type of content. They can't, bro. It's going to, this is what causes the world to be the way it is, where you're benefiting off of it. Come on, dog. And the last thing he was talking about, which was brokerage accounts, right? You mentioned brokerage and whatever. Brokerage, which you take in and out. That's pretty much like a, I don't know, like CFDs or just normal stock accounts. You put your money in, you invest, and I guess you take it as what a brokerage is. Most people that are like this, that don't really want to be doing too much with their money, they want to be hands-on, won't use a brokerage like that, right? So they might, they might have an agent maybe. I don't know exactly how it works. I don't want to talk like I'm an expert, but the brokerage, like he just said, it's easy. It's easy to do. You don't have to. There's nobody stopping you, whatever. I'm guessing because it's like that, where you can just pull your money in and out, whatever, it means it's taxable. Like many accounts, many of these instruments will be taxable. The Roth IRAs are just like pensions. They're not taxable for a reason. It's not to help us or to whoever. It's because they're able to make more money off us. That's why they use that's why they give you those type of benefits with Roth/pension schemes, right? Roth IRA/pension schemes, right? So all this stuff we're saying to people, the average person should do it because average person are very terrible with money. They don't know what they're doing with money. They'll just waste it. They'll just throw it all in a bin. Whereas if you are okay with money, bro, take your money and put it in, I think that woman, the woman I was talking just a second ago, talking about ETFs, whatever, right? Which is the first one she mentioned, I believe. Right, put it in ETFs, put your money in, ETF funds, bro. ETF, which is, what is it? Is it, what is it? Exchange traded fund, whatever, man. You know what ETFs are, man. You guys are experts, man. Right? Put your money in those, put it in the top 5, top 10 best American, companies where ETFs thingies, right? Whatever they want to call that. And you basically be getting dividends. You be getting, well, not necessarily, depending if the company pays dividends, but regardless, anyway, put it in, into the top 5. Was it S&P, right? And you be making money, right? Of the top 10 exchange traded funds, right? You be put it into that, and you be making what, 10, sometimes in some cases 15. Those type of stocks, those type of instruments give you a lot of yield, get you back a lot of yield. So again, if you're hands-on with your finances, I'm telling you, that is the best way to maximize your earnings, your income, all this stuff. That's the best way, is for you just to be a bit more hands-on. And there's courses for you to take. I'm not the expert for that stuff. I've always said, don't subscribe if it's what you're listening, if that's what you're looking for. Just take this information and run with it and see what you can do, because most people are losing out because they're not hands-on. That's all it is, really. Just being more hands-on with your finances, right? Look into these things that will allow you to get as much of it as possible. When you have too many middlemen between you and your money, that's how you don't get the best. You don't get the best bang for your buck. You never will. You need to be able to extract as much as you can, right, from your personal finances, as much as you can. But with too much middle people in there trying to, bruv, this is how things go awry for many people. And they don't get as much. And then they're having to cut this person in, cut this person out, cut this person in. And then before you know it, you didn't make as much, whereas if we really figured out how much we could make from, beings working full time or whatever, with no middlemen, and how much we could, gain from the end, from when we started working to the day we stopped working, to see how much we could make, it will shock us, So many people don't actually realize that they'll be millionaires if they carry on doing this, and they'll be even you'll be able to go become honestly multi-millionaires if you then started doing small personal finance things where you're controlling it yourself, investing your own money into stocks and whatever, doing some research to find out what's the best stocks. Like I said, you don't even have to do that, man. Just put it into the S&P, right? Yeah, ETFs. Bob's your uncle. They're gonna be getting a certain amount, yield that banks can never pay. And there's other instruments that give you even more. There's other instruments that give you even more. So it's just, I'm saying, like, people just don't know this stuff. So I wanted just to touch on that, and obviously I've kind of gone on a rant about it, but it's just hearing these things. This guy is clearly a guy is doing very well, is doing a lot better than me basically. But these areas is where, I wish everybody what they deserve. I'll just end it like that and let's keep it moving.
What's your payoff?
$234,000.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa! How long did this take?
31 months.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a nurse practitioner.
So you're doing 80, 90 hours a week.
96.
Oh
To be
my
precise.
gosh, Candace.
Okay, what kind of debt was the $234,000?
$114,000 in school loan.
What?
$30,000 in one car and $16,000 in another car. $10,000 in taxes. $30,000 in credit
Yo,
cards.
this is wild to me, bro. Look at it, bro. I can never. What is this? Well done for paying it off, but look how much you have. Look how much. So look at, bro. Like the one, oh, bro, 114,000 in school. What did you study? Did you study medicine and law? And did the masters on them? What, bro? Jeez, this woman went. Look how much.
And $65,000 on a mortgage.
What do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is?
Always knowing that you have to sacrifice, learning the aspect of delayed gratification.
How you feel?
I feel free.
All right, Candace from
Well done.
Indianapolis, $234,000 paid off. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
1, 2, 3. I'm debt free.
Gosh freaking dang it, guys. You know I love these videos. Every time I do a positive video, I got to throw a debt-free scream in there because that is one of the main motivating pieces of content that I would always listen to because I listened to the Dave Ramsey show on radio back in like 2014 when I first found him, or 2013 rather, when I first found him and got on this whole like financial
You got
journey
on
for
early,
myself.
bro.
That right there, like
2013.
seeing other people
Wow.
win, I think is what puts it into perspective that, hey, if this person can do it, why can't I?
100%.
And she says the same thing that I preach and that everybody else probably says that have been able to pay off debt and get ahead financially. And that is you have to have delayed gratification and you got to be willing to sacrifice. If you can do that, guys, you can do anything. You just have to be able to do that. And most people, they can't.
Because
It
they like
really
discipline.
is sad when you think about it.
They like
Most
discipline.
people just can't do those two things alone and
They
they'll
like
never get ahead financially.
At all.
But when you
So it
see
is.
everyday people kicking you know what with money, there is nothing more motivating to
You don't
get
wanna say
you
ass,
back
my
on
boy?
track and getting ahead with your
You don't want
finances.
to say ass, my boy?
Financial freedom means something different to everyone, but for me, that meant reaching a certain level of net worth in my life that I felt comfortable, never ever having to work for someone else again.
Correct.
So at age 28, I had reached that milestone.
Well done.
I had purchased 2 real estate properties.
Well
I had
done.
a good load of stocks and savings
Well done.
that I had kept and really
Stocks.
prepared for that
Well
moment.
done, babe.
Because around my
girl.
mid 20s, I started realizing that working for someone else
It's crap,
was
right?
not all that enjoyable.
It's
What I
trash.
saw in the corporate world
happened to me.
made me crave freedom more than anything,
100%.
especially as a working woman.
Bro, she's talking like, this is what made me, bro. I'm just saying. When I tell my people, I don't want to work for, I don't want to be answering to some clients, well, not client, you know what I'm saying? I've had great managers. Some 1 or 2 have not been great, but I don't want to be answering to anybody, bro. I don't want to this stress and this pressure and this and everybody acting a certain way, whatever. You never act how you're acting to me outside of work, because I'm the type of person I will put you on game. What you talking about? I don't care about this job. I don't care about that. I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass. Let's step out of work and I'll put you on game. Like most, bro, I don't even, it's not even a bro, it's not, oh, man. Just keep talking, baby girl, man. So that was that.
Women, I saw things specifically in a female light of, well, what if one day I want to have kids? I don't want to be working a W-2 job. Like, you see how
Bruh.
hard these people have to work, coming to the
Bruh.
office 5 days a week. Remember, I started my sales career in a time in the world where there was no such thing as remote work. So at that time, I realized I don't want to work for other people for the long haul, because
That's
that
fraud.
sucks.
That sucks.
It sucks for so many reasons, especially if you're a woman in
bruh.
sales, but that's a different topic for a different day. My point here is that dream of freedom drove me to seek it through financial means
Well
in,
done,
in terms of building up net worth.
Had to be.
Building up net worth is the fastest way to actually claim a freedom over your lifestyle, because then you can choose how you want to live your life. So because I had real estate assets, because they were real estate assets that were rentals, I was able to have some sort of way to sustain
To live
myself
up, yeah.
as I figured it out.
Yeah.
Because obviously being self-employed and living on your own without
It's
a
not
job
easy.
is its own very
It's not
interesting
easy.
dynamic.
It's not easy.
And of course, for me, I don't want to stop at just like 1 million. It's certainly not my best work. I have a lot more millions that I can make, potentially 7 to 8 figures, 8 to 9 figures
Okay,
by
stop
the
showing
end
off.
of it all.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
By the time I die, assuming I can live past the age of 70, I hope to be at least in the 8 to 9 figure range, right? To get to that
You're showing
range,
off.
obviously the first
Well
step
done.
is leaving behind a job. So for me, financially free means I can afford not to work,
That's
but that
exactly-
doesn't mean I'm going to retire
That's
and
it,
sail
bro.
off into a
And
van.
this is how I tell people. When I tell people I want to retire and be financially free, that's what I mean by it. I don't have to work. If I'm going to work, I'm just bored. Let me go on, what is it? Acclimatize the people again. Go on, go back and re-enter the not workforce, but re-enter the life of meeting and talking and socializing. Pretty much. That's why I want to. That's financial freedom. I don't want to have to I don't want to have to do it. When I tell people, it's like people that don't hear when I speak and don't really take what I'm saying in. It's just long to talk to them. I just don't want to be. That's why I don't want to be around people, bro. I know it sounds antisocial.
That's
but
why I don't really
I am.
resonate with like the traditional fire movement. I actually want to keep working. Like, I don't want to retire early.
correct.
I don't want to retire early.
Correct.
I want the
Same.
financially independent part, but I don't want to retire
Retire
early.
early.
I'm just getting started.
That's me, right?
That's us.
I love the fire movement. I have been a big proponent of the fire movement
What is that,
for
by
the
the way?
longest time. There's certain things about the community that's just a little different
It's
than
an
kind of
acronym
how
for-
I would like to operate on my financial journey. But the
Freedom.
fire movement is a wonderful, wonderful community that I would love to be a part
What
of.
is that?
Now, what she says is she's like, instead of just stopping my entire life and going to live in a van down by the river, which is, I feel like a lot of the fire community, I used to be that. I did. I used to be that. And then until I actually took a break off of like my working life, I found out how mentally stressful that was for me, because I am a pretty motivative go-getter type person. That's my personality. I want to keep working. I want to keep striving for more. That's kind of how I've always been. Now, don't get me wrong. I like taking my breaks every now and then, and I think that's earned, that's needed. But I don't think I'll ever just like completely stop working until I get to like an older age, or I'm like, okay, I'm
Same.
ready to maybe shut it off for a little bit.
Same.
But for the next 30, 40 years of my life, if I'm blessed enough to be able to live that long, I want to keep working. I want to keep growing. I want to keep trying new things. I want to take on maybe a little bit more risk as I get more financially stable.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal for me. Now, the ultimate goal, I think, for everyone should be financial freedom, but that looks different for everyone, how they want that set up.
Correct.
But I do love what she said there about working on your net worth, working on cash flowing investments that you're going to be able to pull from or to use the cash flow in order to live the lifestyle that you choose,
Correct.
while also maybe still working, a little side job, to earn some extra income as well. That's the power in this, guys, is that you're seeing everyday
done?
people
JJ,
do this.
Whew, two
It can
times.
happen. It can.
I don't know this
It
is,
just
but-
takes you to actually wake up every day and work towards that, because no one's going to do it for you. So if you
JJ,
truly
finish
want to
off,
live a
finish off,
life
finish
of
off strong.
financial freedom, you have to be the one to put in the work and also to educate yourself on how you want to get
Did you
there.
finish off strong?
Guys, thank you so much for watching. I
That's it.
know on my last video I did of this, you guys loved these clips a lot, so I wanted to do this again, and I want to keep doing it more often
Please do.
because I like the motivating piece of it as well.
Same.
It is. It's nice to kind of switch things up every now and then and not just
JJ,
look
finish
at
off
all
strong,
doom
finish
and
off strong,
gloom and
quickly,
everyone
quickly.
complaining. I personally would
JJ.
rather watch people be kicking butt with money.
JJ, finish off. Okay, I want to be on the background. But guys, I just want to talk. Okay, so he's got go and check this guy out. I've always said, you know, anyone that's into this personal finance thing, or this is not my channel is not that. I do it because I actually enjoy it. You know, I like personal finance, something we all are going to have to tackle, right? That's the one thing that has to be taught in schools. It has to be off there. But there's so much stuff we need to be taught in schools, guys. So much about relationships and people. What was I gonna say? I'm gonna say people pleasing. Interacting with people, basically, right? Whatever we want to call that. What's the other thing? For me, I think also, even if it's not religion, but looking at philosophy, right? So because these type of things need to be taught in schools, man. Because but the one that definitely needs to be taught in school, well, number one is personal finance. But forget maths and all this. Not teach these kids personal finance. Stop and teach them that, please, because that's what's the most important thing. So that's why I like to watch these type of things. That lady, what she said, she was just reeling off, every chick, just like ticking off all the things that I see, what I believe when it comes to wanting to be, financially free, why I do this, why I'm always on it, trying to not preach basically, but just let you know what I'm on as well, because this is the way to do it. Some people enjoy working for somebody. Honestly, this is what it is. They enjoy it. I don't know how you can enjoy it once you get into a certain stage where you've had a lot of, jobs, whatever. You've met a lot of people. You've seen the dynamics and how people are within the workspace, within the work environment. It's just ew. I don't like it. It's nonsense to me. Whether me being a subordinate, whether me being in the managerial role, I've been in both. I don't like managing people because you have to manage emotions. Oh, that's an ugly place. It's ugly. It's just long. Managing people's BS. It's long. Then just being a subordinate and having to listen to someone tell you that, or sometimes trying to, undermine you. It's just all of it's just long, man. It really is long. It's just power trips and arguments. It's just not worth it. That's why I'm like, I'd rather not. I'd rather not. And financial freedom to me looks like when I can choose to work if I want to, because again, for my reasons, not because I have to get money. So, long story short, that's pretty much all I want to say. I don't want to prolong this any more. Shout out to JJ Buckner. For anyone that wants more videos than that, yeah, subscribe to him for this whole personal finance thing, man. Subscribe to him. This is me just covering my own thing here because this is what we do over here. And everybody, I shall catch you in the next one. Is there anything else I want to mention? If there is, I'll mention the next one. Peace.